My name's Gavin. We're hiking the Appalachian Trail here in a few days, and I thought I'd go over what all we're going to be putting in our backpacks and show you all what all of it is and how I'm packing it. So the first thing we're putting in there is a sleeping bag, and this is in a compression sack right now, and I haven't tightened it down yet, but when I tighten it down, it makes it a heck of a lot smaller, so that way it fits in the bottom of my backpack. Because it needs to be small to fit the backpack so I can have everything else in my backpack and have any room for all other stuff. This sleeping bag is a Marmot Sawtooth. It's a 15-degree bag, and I got this one because I needed the leg room, and I can unzip the bottom of it and spread my legs a little bit more. It takes away a little bit of the warmth, but I didn't like being all tight in the other sleeping bags I tried. So, first thing it goes in the bottom, and we've got a trash bag in our backpack as basically a liner that goes all in it, so that way if it rains, even though we have a tarp that goes over the backpack if it rains, it just helps keep everything dry. So, put the sleeping bag down on the bottom. That would be the first thing. And then the next thing I'll put in is my thermarest. It's got this bag with it to help blow up the thermarest every night, but it's more of a backup because we have flex tail pumps that go that'll be in my bag, so that way I can pump it up at night, and so we're not blowing in it and we're not putting wet moisture in the inside of it so it doesn't mold. So that goes in next. And my sleeping bag, and this is the bag that's got, you know, my thermals in it for at night, and then extra pair of socks, extra underwear. I plan on putting nighttime socks on at night whenever we're going to sleep, so I've got dry socks on, and then, you know, other socks from last night can dry, or we can put them in the sleeping bag if it's going to be below freezing. And then next thing is our sleeping bag liner. It's just a fleece liner that goes in the sleeping bag. It adds, I don't know, 5 degrees or something like that to the sleeping bag. And it also keeps our filth off of the sleeping bag, because it's a lot harder to wash the sleeping bag than to just throw this in the washing machine. So it will be in the sleeping bag though, and it'll be in that compression sack instead of me taking it out every morning and putting it back in every night. I'll just leave it in the sleeping bag. But for now, till we get in there and set up for the first night, it'll be in the backpack. All right, the next thing is my pillow. So I'm just gonna slide that right in there. It'll probably end up being in my thermarest bag. You know, just depends on where everything gets that first night, because we'll readjust and this will end up being different than it is tonight. Then I've got a Toaks pot with a deluxe pocket rocket for our cooking, and this one's more of a backup. I think we're going to just use one, and then if we run out of fuel or that one breaks, then we have this one to use. So I'm gonna put, and then the last thing that's going to go in the actual big part of the backpack is all my food for 4 days. Now this is Mountain House meals and tuna and a lot of little bars on the bottom and stuff, but that's all of that. And then I've also got breakfast. I've got oatmeal in the bottom as well for 4 different mornings. This is my bear bag. Also, it's not just a food bag, it's my bear bag. This is the string to hang it up once we get to a place where the bears are a problem, or even mice are a problem, and we can get it up in the tree so that way it doesn't get eaten, because food's important. So that's the last thing that's going to go in here. And that's full. That's about all I can fit in there, minus some little stuff that can go in the top. But that's everything for the big part of the backpack. Now for the outside of the backpacks, we've got tons of different pockets on this backpack. I've got my tarp that goes on the backpack if it starts raining. There's a spot for it up here, and this is where it actually came whenever I first bought the backpack, but I don't really like it there. I like being able to have stuff that I can get to quicker up there, so I'll just have it right here on the front, or I guess the back, and I've still got room for plenty of other stuff in this pouch. Then I've got my gaiters, so that way stuff doesn't get in my shoes. I don't know that I'm going to use these or not. I might end up dropping them after the first 100 miles or so if I don't ever use them. But I have them right now, so I'll put them in there. I'm going to put them in this side pocket right here because they're really light. They're not going to just come out, so I'm not worried about them. And then I've got my electronics bag. In mine, I have a little off-brand Game Boy for, you know, if I get bored, I can do something because I'm going to get bored, I'm sure, a lot. And then I've got cords for my iPhone, for that Game Boy, for the air pump, for the air mattress, and then we also have the cord to charge the power bank. This specific power bank should charge our phones up to 6 times. So throughout charging everything the whole time, it should do well, and it should last. I'm gonna put it up top. This is my wallet. Once we actually get to where we're going, I'll put some cash in there, debit card, ID, just a little bit of stuff in there, and it clips to the inside of my backpack. So I'm not gonna lose it. I might find a way to lose it, but as of right now, that's where it's at. Then I've got my little, I guess it's a toiletry bag. It's just toothbrush, deodorant, toothpaste, extra lighter. I've got a little ball in here so I can kind of like massage out my muscles. Might need that, but that's what we got in that one. Put that up, and I've got a whole other pocket up here. And then I have some earplugs, just a bunch of packs of earplugs because I don't want to hear the rain smacking the tent all night or the wind flapping the tent. Hopefully it won't be, but it might be. The cicadas are supposed to be really bad this year too. I don't want to hear all that all night and keep me up when I'm needing to sleep. We got hand warmers in case it's really cold, which it's gonna be. So we've got a lot of those, probably an unnecessary amount, but we have them just in case. Then the water filtration, it's a Sawyer, and it'll screw right onto a smart water bottle. We're gonna have 2 of those each. And then I'll have one right here in my front pouch, and I'll have one over here on the side. So that way I can drink out of this one, use the other one for cooking, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. But this is gonna go up top too, so I can get to it fast. If we stop at a creek, it can fill up pretty quick. And then we also have some wilderness wash. It's good for dish soap, or washing your face, or if you feel like jumping in the creek real quick. It's a multi-purpose wash. So that's everything. Well, and then also have an Appalachian Trail passport. I'm gonna stamp it along the way and try to get all the stamps I can in it, just because why not? And I'll have that filled up by the time we get back. But that's everything that goes in the top. Now we have spikes for our shoes for the beginning. We don't know if we're necessarily gonna need them or not, but we figured we'd better have them in case it's real icy or real snowy one morning, or all day. We have something so we can still walk efficiently. And I'm gonna put those over here on the side too. Those can go. I've got the spikes and the water gaiters, and the gaiters, not necessarily water, all on that one side, so that way I know where it's all at. And then my water bottle can go on the other side. I'm gonna put these little gloves. I have a little bit warmer gloves, but these are just for if it just gets a little cold, I can slip these on, and I don't need real bulky gloves or nothing. And I'll put these in my zipper on my waist belt. They don't take up a whole lot of room, easy to get to. And the last few things is I've got the tent that's going to go on the back. I've got the tent. Jeff's got the stakes and the poles, so it pretty much evens out. And I'm going to put them right up here on top, or right here on the back is where I'm putting this tent. Is where we decided was the best place for it to go. Because we figured if we have it on the bottom, down here on the bottom, then it might end up getting a hole in it when we set it down at camp or anything like that. And then it's out of the way. It's on the back. I don't have to worry about when I set my backpack down it ripping or anything like that, because the tent's arguably one of the most important things I've got. And then we have a chair. I decided to bring a little chair because I wanted to be comfortable at least some of the time. So when we're eating or just sitting around camp, sometimes if we have extra time, which a lot of extra time isn't going to happen because we're going to be just trying to hike and get miles in every day. But days that we do have some extra time, I've got something I can sit down on and be comfortable for a little while. So, put this top back on. We've got a washcloth on top. It just kind of sits on top, you know, just something to wipe our face off or our hands, or if need be, help wash the dishes. You know, our fork, that's all we got. Everything else is going to be out of the bag. And we've got some Ziploc bags for trash for when we get done eating. If we don't keep everything sealed up nice and tight, mice are going to dig holes in our stuff, and that would be not good. I'm bringing a speaker. It's just a little JBL clip, 4, and it's supposed to last like 10 hours without having to charge, and I figure we're not going to be using it all day, and so just something we could listen to some music while we're walking, and it just be not silent. So I'll probably end up just sticking that right on the side right here and somewhere, and it's good right there. And that's about it. On the front, we have a little phone thing. Put our phone in there so we can get to it easily. I've got some seeds in the front of it right now. Easy access to it. And my backpack is an Osprey Aether. I had a different one, didn't work out, so we went back to REI and exchanged it for one that the one we had a net on the back, and this one Jeff's going to be using, and it just hurt my lower back a lot. It was the Atmos. That's what it was. It was the Atmos, and it hurt my back whenever I was walking after a mile and a half. I switched to one that didn't have as much of a breathable back to it, which will be fine in the beginning because it'll be cold, but if it's more comfortable, I'd rather wear it and it not hurt me in the long run. And then I've got my hiking sticks. I'm not going to put those in the backpack right now because I will be having them in my hands, but we went with the Cascade Mountain Tech hiking sticks. We've worn them or used them a few times and they work good. We've got cork handles on them. They're grippy. They don't bend a lot when you're using them or nothing. And we've got a few different attachments for them based off of the weather. So that is my whole setup in my backpack.